Hello everyone, welcome to Sleep Watch Repeat, my new channel, where I'm going to be focused entirely on movies, TV, a little bit of entertainment news here and there when I feel it's necessary to talk about it. And yeah, it's just going to be everything that I love about movies, just a place for me to get my thoughts, my feelings out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully, you can connect with me on any sort of level. Give me a comment here or there. Let me know if you've got any recommendations, anything that you would like me to talk about or look into. I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. And yeah, so today's video, our first video on the channel, is going to be about 5 underrated horror movies in the found footage like subgenre. And basically, these are 5 movies that I've watched over past couple of years and I've taken a real liking to, and I don't really feel many people talk about them that much. So I thought, why not talk about them myself and let people know that they exist, and hopefully they enjoy them as much as me. So on that basis, the first one that we're going to look at is Horror in the High Desert. This came out in 2020, and there was also a sequel in 2023, so this year as the video is currently releasing. I've only recently in the past few weeks watched this one, and I'm going to cheat a little here and include both the first and the second in this list, just as one singular entry, as they are fairly short overall. Both of them combined is about 2.5 hours long, which is not really much longer than your average MCU movie. So it kind of works, and I think if you're really engaged with the narrative that this series is trying to sell, you're probably going to watch both of these back to back anyway. So I might as well just include both of them, and yeah, they're both as good as each other. They both add to the overall narrative, and honestly, I would just recommend watching them both back to back like I did. Unlike the rest of this list, it's presented in a documentary style with interviews, analysis of what's going on in the footage, and other things like that. But honestly, it works for this kind of movie because what makes this different is the lore and the theories that they're building, and it really draws you as a viewer into this as if it was like a real life like documentary that you'd watch on maybe Netflix or Discovery, and it really just like draws you into it, grips you, and for me, it never let me go. And I've got so many like questions. It taps into the fear of being alone in the wilderness, not knowing what's out there, as well as the weird, wacky theories about who or what is behind what's going on in the footage. It's got me asking so many questions, and I'm anxiously waiting for the third film. I really hope that I get some answers to the many questions I have. I can't wait for it. I've had a look as it stands. Like when this video comes out, it's currently in post production. So hopefully we don't have to wait too long for that to come out. And yeah, I just can't wait. So I'm looking forward to it. So before I move on to the next one, I'll leave you with a little bit of a trailer of the movie. And I hope you like what you see. I definitely did. And I'll see you on the next bit.
At the top of the mountain, as you can see, there's the great view.
He said that the longer he stood and looked at it, the more spooked that he got, the feeling of dread, the sixth sense that he needed to get out of there.
Unit 6 to dispatch, go ahead.
I need another welfare check, please.
In the ambulance on the way out there, we were talking about how weird it would be to live out there.
And I had to ask myself, is this connected with Gary Hinch?
next on this list is Murder, Death, Koreatown. Now, this one is a truly, I have honestly no real idea what went on in this movie. It is basically Paranoia, the movie, and that absolutely worked for me. Whether it works for you, of course, is another question. Essentially, this is about a man who goes down an incredibly deep rabbit hole following his neighbor's murder. It's got some really wacky ideas about a conspiracy involving the underbelly of Koreatown. And honestly, it just gets more insane as the runtime goes on. If you want like a high energy, jump scare filled found footage movie, this is probably not the one for you, I'm gonna be honest. But if you wanna just go on a ride with the main character on a descent into pure paranoia and just getting sucked into these crazy conspiracy theories, this is the one for you. I I honestly like there is just so much going on in this movie that I can't even comprehend. Like I think I would need a good 2 or 3 watches of this to really process everything that's going on. There's just so much like it honestly Paranoia the movie. I've said it a few times, but it is just that. I mean, without spoiling too much, like at one point there seems to be a man in a sewer that the main character talks to, like through the sewer grid, and it's just insanity. Like it's you have to watch it to really believe what I'm talking about. So on that basis, just give it a watch. You'll let me know. The third movie on this list is Butterfly Kisses. This movie is based around your typical person investigates local legend trope, but it is done quite well, to be honest. It starts off with a filmmaker finding a box of tapes featuring a legend called the Peeping Tom. And then, as you can expect, he and whoever he ropes into joining him get more than they bargained for while investigating. The reason this movie is on this list is because while the setup and the premise is fairly standard for a found footage movie, the way things are executed on this one, I think is quite well done. And there are some really cool shots and scenes here that might surprise you if you watch found footage films regularly. It's a little bit different, they try something a little bit different. It's not quite as formulaic as you might expect. And yeah, it's got an interesting story, interesting like legend, and some of the acting's not too bad. A little bit over dramatic, but it's what you expect from like found footage, to be fair. And a little fun fact is that this movie had such a good marketing campaign. It was so successful that it was actually included in a book about local folk tales because the author thought it was a real legend. And if anyone is interested in that book, it's called Haunted Ellicott City by Shelley Davis Wygant. Not sure if it's available to buy currently, but worth looking up if you were interested.
First one that I pick up says, final solution. A young lady identifies herself as Sophia Crane, and then it got a little upsetting after that. Got a little bit weird. There's no cuts. There's no retakes. There's no calling for action. There's absolutely no evidence to suggest that somebody is directing them.
We have the possibility that this whole thing is real. and we have the possibility this whole thing is a largely plausible hoax.
I do not believe that this video is authentic.
We're gonna take this footage to every professional in town that we can find. Ghost hunters, mythbusters. We're going to go to the radio stations. We're going to the TV stations. We're going to show the footage, and we're going to saturate the market with this information. Then we're going to prove to the world that Peeping Tom exists. The camera doesn't lie.
This is by far my most favorite movie on this list. It's so much so that I bought a special edition of it that included a figurine of one of the monsters in the movie. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. I cannot recommend it enough. I recommend it to all my friends. I recommend it to anyone that I meet. It's just, it's fucking great. It really is. This is basically a PlayStation 2 era video game in movie form. It's about a platoon of Russian soldiers behind enemy lines in World War II who stumble across the Nazi experiments of a mad scientist who has created all kinds of weird, wacky, freaky little monsters for the soldiers to encounter. Now, it doesn't have the biggest budget, for sure, and you do have to watch it with sort of your expectations in check. It's not gonna be a Hollywood production, but if you allow yourself to have fun with it, I think it's absolutely brilliant. If it's your kind of thing, like watching some absolute chaos and just like weird designs and just someone having fun with like the movie they're making, it's great. It really is. It's absolutely chaotic. There's never really a dull moment throughout the entire runtime. There's always something happening on screen or tensions building up to something. A higher budget version of this film would probably be 2018's Overlord, or most people I've met who have seen Frankenstein's Army would tell you that it's the better one of the two. Overlord might have the better budget, but I would say Army is the funner ride for sure. And a fun fact as well is that there's a boss in the video game Resident Evil Village that's basically a direct copy of a fight in this movie. I won't spoil it, but if you've played or seen Resident Evil Village, I'm pretty sure you'll know what I'm talking about. So without further ado, enjoy the trailer.
What the hell is that? Don't touch it, don't touch it! What are you? Only the Nazis would think of something like this. Sewing dead people together. Giving them knives for hands. It's insane.
Simple mechanics, engineering. Each one is still alive. I need a little more! Works! You're insane!
And lastly on the list is The Medium, which is a foreign production from Thailand, which is actually the only one really on this list of a spiritual nature, and it deals a lot with possession, and whether it's good possession or bad possession is up in the air for much of the movie. Essentially, it's about the community's belief that the main character, or like one of the main characters, should I say, is being possessed by a goddess, and that she's going to become the new medium for the village, basically. It's very much tied within like Thai folklore and the way that they perceive gods and goddesses and all that spiritual nature. So you have to sort of be open to that aspect of life. I don't really know too much about it, so I was trying to learn as I go, sort of thing. But I definitely enjoyed it. So essentially, what happens is a documentary crew decides to record what's happening to this young woman in the movie, and as the incidents in the movie happen, it becomes obviously more and more obvious that maybe something not quite so positive and nice is happening to the woman, and it just gets progressively more darker and quite twisted, if I'm honest, quite twisted towards the end. It's definitely what you would class as Asian stereotypes, maybe, in the sense of that. I always feel when I watch like an Asian horror movie, you just know that it's going to have like a bit of a darker feel to it. It tends to not be so many happy endings in it in an Asian movie. But if you're looking for something that's really going to like take you on a journey into a culture and a world that generally we don't really see that too often over here in the Western Seas, I would definitely give it a go. I enjoyed it for what it was. And like I say, it's something a little bit different on this list. It's also something a little bit different in general in the found footage sort of genre. So yeah, give it a go. I enjoyed it. Here's the trailer, and yeah, enjoy.
แต่ถ้าหากว่าญาอยากมาเข้ามาเที่ยมมันอีหลีนี่มึงเสียจังไดเอา
หูแม่นบอกว่ามันคืออหยัง
สภาพอีมิงตอนนี้นะ ก็คือยังกับรถที่เสียบกุญแจคาไว้ไผสิขับไปไสก็ได้
แล้วเป็นหยังมันคือต้องเป็นไอ้มิ่ง
ทุกอย่างมันถูกกำหนดไว้แล้ว
มึงเป็นไผ
มึงก็ลองถ่ายดูสิ ว่ากูคือใคร